Welcome once again to our Alumni Thought Leadership Podcast. I'm DC Jacobs, and I'm the Alumni Engagement and Communication Manager at Australia Awards Africa. Also, welcome to my colleague, Chantel Jurman, our On Awards Coordinator and the Manager Higher Education at Palladium. Welcome, Chantel.
Thank you, DC.
So today we are speaking to two of our alumni who participated in the program's industry placement initiative as scholars when they were in Australia and as part of their On Award enrichment activities. As a program, we are quite curious to hear more about their experiences at the time, but more importantly, how this contributed to the implementation of their reintegration action plans. And their careers in general since their return to Africa. Sean?
Thank you, DC. Let me introduce the alumni. Carolyn is from Kenya. She did a Master of Public Health at the University of Melbourne and took part in an industry placement at the YMCA Victoria in 2019. Felix is from Ghana and completed his Master of Engineering Science Mining at Curtin University and took part in an industry placement at Sarakin Mineral Holdings also in 2019.
So to kick off our conversation, I want to ask the two alumni, and let's start with Caroline. Can you please tell us more about yourself and what your professional focus is?
Oh, thank you, Jacobs. I'm Caroline Rotich. I'm a public health practitioner and also a human rights defender. I'm focusing more on promoting gender equality and women's rights in Kenya.
Okay, Felix, tell us more about yourself.
Thank you, Jacob. My name is Felix Boachi Adam from Ghana, born and raised in Ghana. And I have geomatic engineering as my first degree, and also my second degree was in engineering science and mining engineering. Currently, I am a lecturer at University of Mines and Technology, also in Ghana.
Great. Sean?
Fantastic, thank you. So now that we know a little bit about you, how about you tell us more about when and for how long did you take part in the program's industry placement? Felix?
Thank you, Chantal. I joined the placement in 16th September in 2019. It started in 16th September and it ended in 9th December 2019. So those are the period where I was working with Saracen in the placement position.
Fantastic, thank you, Felix. How about you, Carolyn?
My industry placement, I started in August 8th in 2019, and I finished my placement in December 2019 at YMCA Victoria at Icon Park. And I worked as an intern, also as a youth volunteer at the organization.
So why did you decide at the time that this is a good opportunity for you? Caroline?
I decided to take up the opportunity because I felt that it will create a chance for me to apply the theoretical part that I learned in Melbourne University and to now work in a real life world experience. That is when now I had to build my strong foundation for the work that I'm now doing in Kenya. And it's like now my academic knowledge came to a real life world-changing experiences in Melbourne.
Felix, why did you decide at the time that this opportunity is something you want to explore?
Yes, mining was my second degree as of that time. I have geomatic engineering as my first degree. So I didn't have any experience in the second degree, which is mining. So I thought of it that it would be a big opportunity for me to take part of this placement because mining is more of a practical field than the theoretical knowledge that we acquire in the classroom. So I took an opportunity of it and joined the placement. And when I went, it was a very good opportunity for me, indeed.
Thanks. And Felix, can you tell us a little bit more about your Australian host?
Yes, my Australian host was Saracen Goldman. They are involved in mining gold, and they started in 2010, mining gold in 2010. And as of that time, they were operating only as a Saracen mine, and they are located within 120 kilometers northeast of Kalgoorlie. I think most of you know Kalgoorlie, which is in Western Australia. And so in 2021, they joined hands, they merged together with Northern Star Resources to operate as one. And currently is under the ownership of Northern Star Resources, who are now operating them. When I went there, the people were good to me. They hosted me fine. I was very happy working with them. I learned a lot of things from there. So I can only say good things about them because of their hospitality and the kind of things they taught me when I was with them.
Fantastic. Thank you, Felix. And how about you, Carolyn? Can you tell us more about your Australian host?
Yeah, during my placement, YMCA Victoria was my host that time. And it is involved in several activities that includes the establishment. It's a well-established non-profit organization that offers a supportive environment for interns to gain practical experiences. And when I was there are programs that were well-centered, and also they were creating, they focus more on health communities, they promote well-being, and also advocacy issues were good experience that I felt I will gain because they were inclusive to the public health promotion that I was coming to do in Kenya.
Great. So next, can you maybe share a little bit more about the activities that you were involved in and what you learned on a technical level? Let's start with Felix.
Thank you, Jacobs. When I was with Saracen, I was given to the underground alternate manager in the person of Mr. Sam. He was my immediate mentor or my supervisor. So he's the one that trained me on all the things that I did. When I was there, I was given a program to follow on weekly basis. So the first thing that I did, and that's the first week, I was inducted into the company. And also I went through their safety protocols. You know, before you enter into the mine, you need to be inducted into their safety protocols. So I did that. And the following week, I was admitted into the survey crew. And their work was to conduct survey map on daily basis and also produce report on a weekly basis. So I joined them and we were doing that. From there, I joined the geotechnical and geology department. They were also conducting geological maps and also taking geological reports. And whatever they were doing, I joined them. And with the geology, I was learning how to conduct core sampling. Core sampling is just a sample that we take during mining to identify some minerals within the rock before we can go ahead to do the mining. And so it is done by the geological department. And I joined them to learn that skill. And also from there, we went to the ventilation crew. Their work is to ensure that there is enough oxygen supplied to the workers in underground. So I joined them in their work. We did daily activities, and we also ensure that all the fans that are producing or generating oxygen to the underground workings were all working and producing as required. So I joined them in their activities. From there, I joined the production crew, which is the mining department. Their work is to ensure that every day there is enough ore to be produced per time. And so I joined them when they were doing their daily blasting. They even took me underground to see how they charge their blast holes. I saw that the explosive that they were using was emulsion, basically because there was enough water in their grounds. That is the country rock was having so much water content. And so they need to use emulsion. Emulsion was meant for an area that has water content. So I learned all these things during my stay with them.
Right, it sounds like a variety, quite a variety of activities that you were involved with.
Yes.
Caroline, what about you?
Okay. During my placement at YMCA, I was involved in several activities, and I'll major more on three main activities. That is, activity one was I participated in future leaders training. This is where I gained a lot of leadership skills, and it really taught me on strategic planning, making decisions. And as an executive director for career rights, it has really helped in implementing or pushing for policies that are going to be essential in advocating issues for women. There is also activity that I did was visiting La Trobe Youth Space in Morwell. This is a vibrant a hub in Victoria whereby youths are given a conducive environment or a space to air their feelings, to share their career aspirations. And I really carried one thing, the model on how they are running their way of activities daily. And it really helped me now to come and start my own model in Kenya. That is Career Rights Organization. And it has helped me to advocate for issues of young girls and also for women's rights as well as the young people in their spaces. There is also the Volleyball magazine where I contributed in publishing the magazine for YMCA Victoria. And this really helped me in terms of knowing how to implement or to document community initiatives and also stories within the community. And I'm using those ones in my organization to document success stories that are informing the future of our Kenyan implementation for programs on public health. Yes.
Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. So Carolyn, are you able to tell us a little bit more about what you learned whilst you were on your industry placement in terms of your human or soft skills?
Yes, there are human skills that I learned, and as mentioned earlier, there is a communication skills that I learned from the Volleyball magazine. And with this communication, that is writing, listening, it has really helped me to come up with messages in public health that addresses issues of prevention, and also to communicate with my team and communicating also with the high level managements in the county to spearhead issues of development of the gender policy. There is also the leadership skill that I gained. And this one, it has helped me to be the lead in my organization as the executive director, where I'm able to make decisions, I'm able to run programs, and also I'm able to reach out to hierarchies or high levels that makes decisions within our health departments in the county. And it's really like giving me the space that I need to ensure that I achieve my RAP objective as well as goals. There's also networking and collaboration, whereby not only that I made collaboration on networking in Australia, but it has also helped me to make this collaboration and networking in my country. So like in my country, we have local leaders, we have gender departments, we have those decision makers, and it has really helped me, and also other implementing partners. It has really helped me to know how to work with them and make decisions or to spearhead initiatives that drive change within the community. And this is now bringing me to see a success in the development of Wazim-Gishu gender policy.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Carolyn. Those networking skills are very important. Felix, how about you in terms of your human and soft skills that you've learned whilst you were on your industry placement?
Thank you, Chantel. What I can say about my human skill when I was with Saracen is the communication skills that I acquired. You know, in mining, number one thing that we need to focus on is communication. And when I was there, at every morning before we will start our work, we need to gather together and have a short meeting and also talk about the daily activities that will be taken underground. You know, this thing needs to be well explained so that every crew that is going underground will know exactly what they are going to do and which areas of the underground they will need to go there and which areas they are not supposed to go. So when you are communicating such a vital information to them, you need to make it more clearer so that nobody makes a mistake, because one mistake can lead to a disaster. And so that is one thing that I learned, that in the industry, you need to clearly communicate with people for them to understand. And secondly, I also learned of how to work within a team, because all the guys or the people that went underground, they went in a crew, and a crew can consist of 4 to 5 people, or even sometimes more. So working with a group of people with several different backgrounds, you need to learn how to collaborate and work with one mind in order to achieve your goal. So if you are not somebody who is flexible to work with other people, you cannot work within the mining industry, because you always need to collaborate with others. And so working in a team is very, very important, which is something that I also learned. And also I learned of leadership skills. You know, many people are employed within the mining industry, and people sometimes come into the industry with different kinds of problems, and they'll have their own personal issues. And they also have to come there and put away their personal issues and focus on the tedious activities or tedious work within the site. You as a leader need to know how to inspire them so that they can put in their effort to achieve the daily production. So that is very, very important, which is something I also learned. And it is also helping me in this area within my country. And finally, I learned of the safety, how to apply safety within the mining industry, which is something which we can also apply in our day-to-day activities. Even here in my home, I apply safety, and wherever I go, I apply safety. So these are some of the human skills that I learned whilst I was on my placement within Saracen.
Thank you, Felix. For the next question, I think you've all touched on it. And the question is, how did the industry placement enhance your reintegration action plan at the time and since your return? But you've already touched on it. So maybe just in short, what can you say would be the most important thing that you've learned, that you now enhance your implementation of your RAP, and that you apply since your return? Let's start with Caroline.
Yeah, what I can say is the issue of the soft skill, that is the human skills that it really helped me that time, and it has informed in my RAP, that the Reintegration Action Plan, whereby I evaluated it, I reflected it, and now I have done it to the specific objective that I wanted, and it is now achievable, and I can say I'm comfortable now achieving my Reintegration Action Plan back at home, and the success, I can feel it, and I can also see it in the community. Yeah.
Yeah, and with communication, you can use it every day, you know, whether it's in your technical or your professional life, your personal life.
Yes.
Felix,
Yes.
what about you? What would you say is the one thing that enhance your rap and that you implemented back home since?
Yeah, actually, there are a lot of things that I can talk about since I came home. When I came back to the house to Ghana, I joined a company called Prime PSG, and what they do was to give mining services to the larger mining companies. And so I was their operations manager, and I had about 10 people who were under me, which I was coordinating. And so with my leadership skills that I learned and the communication skills that I learned, I was able to mobilize them properly to a point where we even grew our revenues per year, because I remember once I was there, my immediate director, was able to purchase 2 more trucks and excavators in addition to the ones that we already had, which means that the company was doing well. Currently, I'm working as a lecturer in the University of Mines and Technology. And with the technical skills that I learned whilst I was in Saracen, they are all being implemented within the school where I am impacting a lot of students. I can say that since the time I started lecturing, I've had influence over more than 200 to 500 students who are all doing well within the industry. So the thing that I learned has had a lot of influence and impact back home here.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you again, Felix. It's good to see that you're already having a measurable impact, which leads to our next question. So, Felix, perhaps you can start. How did your learnings and experience from your placement contribute to your professional field and community now that you're back home?
Like I said, the place that I'm working right now as a lecturer, I started not many years ago, about 2-3 years ago, and now about, let's say, not less than 500 students who has passed through my hands, whom I have taught, are doing well in the mining field and also in other areas which they find themselves. And most of them, I remember this guy, Mr. Lukwom, who is already a mine manager in one of the mining companies, which is called Engineers and Planners. He's doing well within the country. And also there have been other several people whom has passed through my hands who are serving as mine captains and or engineers, underground engineers, and sort of you. So a lot of people are doing well because of the skills I learned at Saracen, which has helped me a lot. And I'm employing all these skills at my area of work because, you know, mining is, as I said, mining is more of experience. You know the book one and also go and acquire the practical one in the site. So when you have these two knowledges, the one which is practical and the one which is from the book, you'll be able to apply it well and impact students properly. So this is what I'm doing, and it's a lot is producing more results for me here.
Very well said. Thank you, Felix. And how about you, Carolyn? How are the things you have learned and experienced in your placement in Australia contributed to your professional field and community now that you're back in Kenya?
Yes. When I came back to Kenya, I didn't go to work to my previous employer. So I decided to open up my own organization, that is Career Rights Organization. That one of our thematic areas is to promote issues of gender equality. One of the objectives in my RAP was to create a supportive environment for women and girls to address issues of gender and also to stop issues of gender violence. So my objective was to come back to Kenya and ensure that we have policies that are good for women, that are being implemented, and that create a safe space for women and also promote inclusivity. So during that time until now, as the Executive Director for Career Rights, I managed to resource mobilize for some resources from Urgent Action Fund. And we were supported by Urgent Action Fund, and we spearheaded the development of a localized gender policy in my county. And what I can say now, with the support of the Department of Gender and Directorate, Culture, Inclusivity in my county, we have a zero draft for gender policy, and we are still striving ahead or continuing to resource mobilize for the resources to see that this gender policy is workable. It has been launched, and it is supporting the needs of women and girls in Uasin Gishu County. And with the launchment and also going through the approval in the Senate, then we'll be happy to have a gender policy that is workable for us as women, and we'll be working now towards its implementation. And we are seeing a future whereby women's rights are respected and are supported within our country sector in gender issues. Yes.
Such important work. Thank you, Carolyn. DC?
Yeah, so my next question, let's go with Felix, is what links and networks did you form in Australia and with Australian organizations while attending the industry placement?
Thank you, Jacobs. Whilst I was in Australia, I formed several links with several people and organizations, especially my colleagues, the guys I was in the same class with, my classmates. I have several of them, their contacts. And also in Saracen, I have my immediate boss, my supervisor, and my mentors. I have their contacts. And also there are a lot of organizations that we had seminars and webinars with that I still have their contacts, and I can contact them in case I don't understand anything for now. So there are also a lot of engineers, mining engineers, especially the crew members that I joined them when I went to Saracen. Most of them taught me a lot of things, especially the ventilation guys and the guys who were in geotechnical and geology department. They taught me a lot of things. I still have their contact, which I can contact them anytime I don't understand anything. So these are some of the contacts that I have as of now. There are several of them that I still have to go through my list of contacts to be able to record them. But these are the ones that I still remember.
Caroline, what about you?
Yes, for me, while I was in Australia, I managed to network and also form some links with Australian organizations. Though at the moment, I have networks with that deals with my profession, but there is this new opportunity that came up on migration to Australia, supporting international students to study in Australia. So I formed a link with one organization known as Grace International Education Migration Center. With it has its head office in Melbourne, and through that network and collaboration, I've been able to start up another agency in my country, that is in my town where I live. And we are working together with the organization in Australia to ensure that we take through the international students who wish to study in Australia through the application process and also the process for visa, ensuring there is integrity and we abide by the laws of Australian government. So with also the agency, I'm able to encourage young people like me or women to apply for scholarship the way I did, and I help them to guide to further studies in Australia and bring the same skills back home. Yeah.
What a great way to pay forward, Carolyn, and you've alluded it a little bit to my next question. So are you still in contact with the links and networks in Australia?
Yes, I'm still with the links with Australian organization. Yes. And they are supporting me daily with their advice, technical expertise. It's a continuing process, yes.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear. And how about you, Felix? Are you still in contact with your links and networks?
Yes, I do. I am still in contact with most of my links, especially my supervisor, Mr. Sam, the alternate manager. He was the one who was mentoring me whilst I was in my placement with Saracen. And also, I am in contact with most of my colleagues in class, and also most of the engineers, the crew members whom I was working with. So most of the time when I don't understand anything, I can just call any one of them to explain it to me. I recently contacted Mr. Sam, who was my supervisor, to explain some things in his area, and he did a marvelous job for me. So I'm in contact with most of my links back in Australia.
Great. So for our next question is about gender equality. And I know, Caroline, you work in this space. So I want to start with Felix. Felix, if you can share with us how your industry placement experience contributed to your skills, knowledge, and attitudes in terms of gender equality.
It has done a lot of things for me in terms of my ideas concerning gender equality. I mean, gone are the days when we used to think that mining was for men only because of the tedious work that it involves. But when I went to Australia, and especially when I was on the industry placement with Saracen, I saw a lot of women who were doing a lot of tedious work because of the advancement in technology. Most of the work can easily be done by anyone. And so women were doing a lot of work which previously you would think that only men can do. And most of them were even driving the trucks, the heavy machineries, which was easier for them. And some were even going underground to do heavy duty works. And so my mindset concerning gender equality has drastically changed. And back home, we are also seeing a lot of drastic change within our settings, especially where I'm currently working. It used to be 1:100 whilst I was a student in University of Mines and Technology. That is, when we have one female, it will correspond to 100 males in the student population. But now we have about 60 females, which is corresponding to 100 males within the student population. That is a very significant increment over the few years. And so my mindset concerning gender equality has drastically changed based on the experiences that I had in Australia, and also the ones I saw in Saracen during my placement.
Fantastic. Caroline, is there anything that you want to add to this?
Yeah, I can also say that from the industrial placement, the skills and knowledge that I gained there really taught me on the power shifts in terms of male and female. And coming from a community whereby men are seen as the power, or they have the power to do high ranking jobs, and women are supposed to be at their homes looking after the family. But working in Australia, being in their spaces, it really gave me the confidence and the power to come back home and initiate this initiative that women also can be leaders in their own ways, and working with women, they can influence a lot. And I'm seeing that also in our county leadership management or in the political sphere, whereby we have good representation of women in work. So you find that in terms of work placements, we have a good representation of women and men in equal opportunities. So with the knowledge gained in Australia, I can say it has taught me, especially the communication skills, to be to effectively deal with issues of unbiasedness, especially now that I'm an executive director in my organization. There is the issue of balancing power and also balancing the opportunities in the organization. Yes.
Thanks, Caroline. I'm just mindful of time, so just shortly, did your industry placement have an effect on your perception of Australia or Australians? Felix?
Yes, a lot. When I was in Australia, I saw the diversity of culture that is within Australia. You know, when you come there, you can see different people from different backgrounds, especially people with black color, race. You can see all of them from different countries merging within one country of Australia. And when they come, they are not suppressed in any way or any kind. They have their freedom of expression and their freedom of speech. And so I can say that Australia is a center for cultural diversity, where people can come there and explore more about their abilities and what they can do. You can even come there and also learn of things. You can go back home and impart upon your own people. So Australians are good people, and I also can talk more of their hospitality. You know, sometimes you might think that somebody doesn't know you, he cannot do anything good for you, but you just need to approach, and somebody can just teach you something that you hardly know. So this is what I can say about them because of time. That's all. I mean, they are naturally good people.
Fantastic. Caroline, is there anything that you want to add to this?
Yes, sure. Just to add on what Felix said about Australia, there is also the issue of work ethics. Australia really understand on the work ethics, and it has really helped me back home now that I'm also applying the work ethics from Australia. They really innovative, and also they are collaborative. There is that issue of innovation and collaboration among the team, and it's really helping me back here. Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, so we are at our last question. So again, just shortly, what advice do you have for current scholars in terms of extracurricular or on-award enrichment participation? Caroline, let's go with you.
Yes, for the new scholars, what I can advise them is when you get this opportunity to study abroad under the Australian Award Scholarship, and you are given the space, try to be open to new opportunities. There are so many opportunities in Australia. Learn to adapt and also to evolve in your career, and also learn to document. Documentation is very key. Record any achievement that you come across, even the failure you have there, because these are the ones that are going to build your growth in future, and they will help you a lot when you are going for job interviews, and also in terms of updating your resumes. So all I can say for a scholar, utilize the opportunity, because it has many great returns and beautiful ones. Yes.
Fantastic. Felix, what about you?
Yes, just to add a little to what Caroline has said, when you are going or you are in Australia, to my fellow guys, new guys, you know, when you are in Australia, it's a new place altogether for you. And so you have to be open as possible, because you don't know what can come your way. And so when you get the opportunity to go on placement, remember, we have two forms of knowledge: the one you learn in a classroom and the one you learn on a job. And so when you get that opportunity, you always have to go for the one you have been given, the practical experience, because that is where you are actually practicing the knowledge you have acquired in class. When you get this experience, and no matter where you find yourself, you can always implement it and move forward or advance in your career. Most of the time when you are in Australia, you will be moved with the fact that you need to make some money by going to work. It is very, very important, but when an opportunity like this also comes, please give it attention and develop yourself as more better, because when you come back home, this is the experience that you are going to implement to even develop your career furthermore. So just be on the look, take opportunities, and never set back.
Thank you, Felix. That is so true. I always tell our scholars that, if you're open to everything, you will change as a person, as a whole, and not just in terms of your career or your technical knowledge. So this brings us to the end of today's conversation. I want to say thank you to Caroline and Felix, and also to Chantel. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing all your insights with us. And then also thank you to our listeners for your feedback, and please share your thoughts via email to us at alumni@australiaaward.org. Until next time, thank you and goodbye.